Hey guys, how we doing? Happy Thanksgiving. We're here with the gang. I'm going to introduce everybody really quick. Jolly, say hello real quick.
Hey, everybody, good evening.
And Turing, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Hello,
Did you
everyone.
have a good Thanksgiving?
I did very much.
Good. And then Josh, how's Thanksgiving out on the East or West Coast?
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. It's been fantastic. The weather is in the mid 60s in the daytime, so it's nice to be outside.
Good. Namidius, how are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Doing great. Just had the usual turkey and stuff, but can't get there go with everybody, but made the most of it.
Okay. And then last but not least, Chapcap, who is in witness protection at an undisclosed location for the next couple of months.
Hey guys, how's it going? Happy holidays.
So I think, the whole purpose of tonight's show, and hopefully everything looks good. I know it's a little dark where I'm at, but that's because we're playing with the lights again. But hopefully everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I think we're going to talk about the sale today. So without further ado, Jolly, I believe that you want to talk about the Expo Hall.
Let's start with the first of all, good job by Sega on putting in RSI, putting on the Expo again for 2950. Personal opinion is I think their Expo Hall they designed this year is the best they've ever done, most beautiful by far. I got a lot of kudos to the guys and the team that created it and expanded it out and everything. So those are all big pluses for them. I want to point out it's kind of funny. The previous expos, if you guys remember, you'd go over there. Normally, you'd have two elevators. No big deal because you can't put more than 50 people into a server, anyways. But this one had six. Only thing is that they're thinking ahead. We have greater numbers that are there, server meshing, et cetera, stuff like that, where the expos will actually be crowded as you're trying to move your way through a sea of people. Think Dragon Con and the ability to move around at that point in time. So maybe at some point in time in the future, if they continue these expos as the game goes live, we'll have a little bit more of that going on. It should be rather enjoyable. But I think they did a great job on it. It was beautiful, beyond a shadow of a doubt. The ship displays were very good. That's a positive aspect of it. Be able to walk around and stuff like that. Some you could get into, some you could not. It's not a big deal. The nice addition of the weapons and components that were displays. It was kind of nice seeing the sizes, but I didn't really get anything out of the components being there. All right, that's a cooler. It's a cooler. I see that in Dumpers Depot all the time, but whatever. I guess it was kind of a filler. The bad part is they had to use holographs. Why they use holographs instead of the actual models, I don't know. If at the minimum, it'd be nice to have had a holograph that you could adjust and turn and look at it from a different angle. The Kraken was the one that really got to me because I'm sitting there looking up at the underdeck of Kraken. I thought, I'd like to be able to turn that thing a little bit, look at the top part
where's
of it.
the gangway so you can climb up
Somewhere
and
I
see
could
on top of it?
see more than just a pretty crappy holodeck. When I get better graphics off of just going to the ship page and stuff like that, you'll be able to see a lot more with that. So that was kind of a letdown, their holographs. I don't think that was really a plus on their side. No interaction basis, what I'm saying. Yeah. My biggest complaint, though, by far was the size. The amount of walking and the time it took to get from point A to point B was immense. And if you could bring up that Tobin
Hold
Expo,
on one second. Joni's going to get that ready to go.
that's just one of the maps they had out there for display, so you knew where you were at, which is kind of nice.
Bring it full screen. Oh, we don't have it visually.
It was as large as the world, though.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned
It beats the
size,
world.
No,
Jolly.
go to all of us, actually.
In one of the IAE videos they put out, they actually had Jax
You have to run
Mercury
the scanner.
driving a gray cat around inside the expo hall
Yeah, I would have
to
used
get
a
around.
cat.
To get
Saw
around.
that. I
That
saw
would've
that.
been
That would have
Great cat,
been
get around it.
nice for sure, but I think there would have been a lot of shenanigans as well. The
Well,
same
you-
reason that we have bollards at Port Olisar now.
Part of the problem is you get off the elevator and you're walking up the Egyptian pyramids to
Grand
get to the
entrance.
expo hall itself, and you have to walk forever to get to the first ship you want to take a look at. If you want to walk down a circular stairwell, there's a hopefully it shows up if you get full screen on that puppy.
There we go. We got full screen.
All right.
She just needs to
there
make
we
it
go.
bigger.
That's full screen.
There we go.
All right. You walk downstairs into a long circular area to get down to the bottom part that's shown on the left-hand side. And usually like 4 displays. It wouldn't be someday it might be 4 gray cats on display. Yeah, it really didn't turn me on much. I mean, it's gray cat. Everyone's seen one. Almost everyone has one. The holographs are held down there. again, a lot of walking around just to see the areas, and that was kind of the negative on the whole thing. I could see that's the only negative is they either I would have liked to see more ships put in that space than what they did. I really didn't get much out of having the components there. The weapons might have been the exception to the rule because when you see some of the larger sized weapons, gives you a better understanding how big they actually are. So a plus on that part. But I don't need to see the coolers, the power plants, and stuff like that. I got nothing out of it. I would like to see more ships be displayed out there, and it would have worked out a little bit better, in my opinion.
It wasn't just that it was the power plants. They were put in the very back behind the big curtain wall that they had a few times. So it was very clear that these were sort of an afterthought or where no one wanted to be anyways.
Yeah, if they would have had an ability for you to purchase an item from the floor,
Yeah.
you know, if for the weapons or the coolers or the components, I think that would have gone a long way to having them there.
True.
Yeah, I mean, you could have just been able to rent them or something. That might have been useful.
Yeah, I don't know if they could do rentals on components. That would have been something. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I said. You know, the purchase option, the
Make
rental
a switch.
option.
Component repo man's gonna come take his stuff back off your ship.
Yeah, I guess when you're flying it around, all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
he's
you
gonna
know,
catch up to you.
Come back out and the tires are missing off of it. It's on
where are my
blocks.
size 3s?
Yeah, what happened here? Joni, if you could, can you put up the ship show hall slideshow? I just want to take a minute. You know, as a lot of you know, and some of you don't, I actually do live events. That's why I'm in a hotel right now, is I'm in a town for a live event. I actually do live events, so I spend a fair amount of time at trade shows like this, and I think that they have done a really good job representing it as a true IRL trade show. You know, they had grand entrance, they had merch. I think the way they displayed the ships, if you want to go to the next one there, Joni, the way they displayed the ships is very true. I've spent a lot of time at auto shows, and I think it's very true to what auto shows look like. You know, that's the way they have the ships arranged, and they have the overhead banners, the signage all over the place. They have a consistent theme every day. That's really nice. I like what they did with the Amble Aerospace logos,
Oh,
things
that
like
is a
that.
sweet looking
They-
logo. I
yeah,
missed that.
And they did that for every manufacturer
Mm-hmm.
to glorify the brands. I liked how they were able to activate the downstairs spaces using the stair architecture to kind of give you displays for land vehicles. Like, for example, we have the Dragonflies. The next one is we have the Rocks. And then after that, we had the Ursa Rovers. I think they did a really good job keeping that all tightened in. And then they had that secondary hall that was down below the main hall, you know, where they had the Nomad, they had the freelancers. They did a really good job of making it look exactly how it would be. I mean, look, they have silly things like seating for people. You know, they had water fountains, they have info signs. You know, it's just like a real show. Then this is the other hall that was off the main floor. Same kind of concept. They carried it all through. They make the place look big and airy. It looked really good. Now, that's not to say that there weren't a couple of geometry issues. You can see here we have some Spider-Man climbing up some stuff.
Well, that
But
was
I think they did a really good job conveying the theme of the show, the message of the show, and making it feel like it was a real event. This last one I put in for Turin. It's got his favorite helmet. It's got his favorite
I'm going to
helmet.
shoot you.
But they did a really good job with the whole "Your Journey Awaits" thing and the grand entrance and just making you feel like you were a part of the show and that you were coming to a show, not just a themed room in the verse. You know, I think they did a really good job with it. That's my 2 cents as a guy who sees it a
I
lot.
was impressed when you walked into the show hall, the way the ship was in the center, especially some of the bigger ships, the Reclaimer and the 890. It just really emphasized the massive size of some of those ships. So I thought the hall was the best at presenting ships I had seen so far. So I fully agree with you. But yes, I did climb the banners. Don't ask me why. It's just something I would do.
Yes.
Same
Something
here.
you would do. There's no question about
Hey,
that.
players will do anything they can find a way to do.
I will
It's-
say the view of the 890 and the Reclaimer from up there was pretty awesome.
I think that's why that hall was so darn huge, is because they had to fit those ships
Yeah.
in there. I agree that there was some space that could have been utilized maybe a little more efficiently, but you know, one thing I would have liked to see that they did have in some of the videos, but they didn't have that you could actually get to, is they had like an outdoor landing pad rooftop area where they had banners and stuff like that, and I thought that would have been a really neat piece to add on. you know, and
Except
have
it's
some.
so cold at Microtech, though.
Well, yeah, the situation or the location may have had something to do with it, but
It
that's
sure would have been nice.
it would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
this
think
the first time? Is this the first time they had a 48-hour time frame on each
Yes.
vendor?
I
Didn't
think
they do that last time?
No,
I
it's
don't
No, I
24
think they
hours
had
last
two
time.
vendors
I
at
think they flipped,
once.
yeah.
They had two vendors at once in different locations,
Oh.
but it was at the same. It was for the same duration. This is the first time that I know that they've allowed it to go 48 hours for each vendor, and they overlapped each other. And I think that was due to the scalability this time of the venue that they were able to put in, which was really nice.
Yeah, especially I can't. I mean, you go rent 5 or 6 ships, you may not get to them all in 24 hours. So it's nice if you can go back and grab one of those ships you didn't get to fly.
Yeah, well, I completely agree.
Yeah, and if you didn't catch it during the best in show portion of the show, all the ships are coming back for rental for free during that period of time.
How?
Oh.
Because before you had to walk up to them and
Yeah, I think you're going to be on the rental consoles now. I think that's where they're going to put it.
The other
Okay.
thing we didn't talk about is there's also another day where there's going to be the armaments day. So I'm guessing they're going to have suits of armor and FPS weapons on racks. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. But
I'm curious to see.
should be interesting.
we're supposed to have some surprise armor of some type.
Titan suit.
I believe. We can hope.
A fuzzy suit to go with that bear head.
Yep.
Oh,
You wear that to a whole different type of convention there.
yeah. Wrong type of convention
You know,
there.
I was
Torrent.
trying to think about how to say that without.
So
you did it
yeah.
perfectly. Well done, sir. I think
So
we-
you know, I went in almost every day, and I definitely saw all the different vendors. And you know, I think it was a lot better this year than it has been in past years. The 2 days per vendor and the overlap makes it easy. Where if you miss a day or miss a few hours, you're able to get able to still get in there and take a peek at the stuff. And I think the space is better than the space that they had at Area 18 or the space that they had at you know, Lorville, for sure. Lorville was awful.
It was a big hangar.
It was, but you know, I still kind of miss. There was no Idris to look at.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that we should have seen some progression on, that we didn't. And
I
so,
think, and Jay, if I could add to
Go
that,
ahead.
I think they tried a little bit with Invictus Week, where you could go up to the orbital station and see those big ships. They could have done that this time too. I mean, you could have put an extension of
yeah,
the
stick a star
of the
lifter up there by the
displays.
cargo deck or something.
Yeah, well, you could have used that that area that is off limits, the military arm of the space dock, to at least go out and have another EVA display.
Yep.
So I think
Or-
they could have done that.
or put the Idris in a big bathtub again, like they did a couple of years ago.
I remember
There
that.
was one thing that that I saw, and I think it's for the first time as well. When you first came out of the elevators and before you went up the stairs, to the right was a huge video screen that was playing,
Yeah.
in-game
Prowler.
video commercials.
The
Yep.
Prowler commercial.
Well, they were
Really,
doing it
really
for
good.
every manufacturer had their own video that was playing up there. They had the Nomad going. They had the 100 series for Origin. I don't know what they're doing for RSI because I didn't go to the expo yet today. But I think that's another. It's sort of like the rock mining first iteration tech for the tractor beam. This could be the first iteration tech for in-game video streaming and things of that nature. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I
like that.
agree.
The Prowler ad was particularly very well done.
Yeah.
A lot of guys were commenting on that one.
I think all the ads were really well done. The Galactic Tour bit is, I mean, it's been comic relief every day. The Perseus video today was hilarious.
Mhm.
This isn't loaded, right? Boom, 15 different alarms are going off. I think they did a great job with all of them, and they got some healthy teasers in there too, with the C2 and the Talon.
Yeah, but I bit
Well-
hard with the Crusader. I bit hard with that one. I thought
Yeah.
for sure they were putting
Yeah,
it
yeah.
on the floor. They
Yeah,
didn't fool me.
that
They
was a
didn't fool me
cruel-
with the Talons.
That
but
was a
they-
cruel tease, I think.
I
Yeah.
was
was.
looking for it too. That was
Yeah.
just that hurt.
Yep. It looks like it's close enough. I don't know why they didn't put it in there as a static
Top
display.
deck,
even
I
if-
think. The
Yeah.
top deck's still going through last pass, I believe.
Uh, Well, but they could have had that deck
Whatever,
locked and just shown
stick
the
a
bottom
Charlotte in there and
deck.
call it a day.
Yeah.
Getting back to the Invictus thing though, is I have a feeling they're just not quite there with NPC movement of, you know, like I think it's 312. We got the improvements to the capital ship pilot. They're probably trying to get improvements to the way the NPCs move around landing zones like New Babbage and Lorville. If they had that more dialed in, we probably would have seen some NPC ships flying in and out of the area to make it more active looking. I think that's maybe part of what you were talking about, the landing pads up above the
Well, just having
area.
it as a static display, I think is what Shap was talking about. Having a static display, because you can
Yeah.
see that in some of the Whitley's guides. It's in there every time. There's a section that they're all sitting on
Yeah, it's
top
like a
of the
rooftop
of the
landing pad or
spaceport.
something.
It's on
Yeah.
top of the
Yep.
spaceport.
Oh, there you go.
But remember, we had the
Definitely.
F8s flying, like you said, during the Invictus. They would
Oh.
land around the security decks.
We did
They
have
could
the
have done,
F8 in game,
but not flying.
No,
The
no,
thing
no.
is, they
Yep.
I would say maybe they wanted to have them on the roof or something, but they couldn't quite get it to where it was presentable.
Yeah, but my
'Cause,
point was you had the Idris, you had the Javelin for Invictus Week, you had those ships. You could have put them static on the
Somewhere.
static display up at the spaceport for people to go up and see. That was my point, is that you it's one of the ships you could buy, so why not go ahead and show it during the week.
Unless they're trying to keep Invictus to the military event of the year and not the
No,
flash and
I
show
don't
off
say
event.
make it Invictus like. I just say
No,
put
yeah,
the ships out for display.
sure,
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I hear you.
my point is, it was a magnificent venue, underutilized.
Yes.
They could
I
have
would give it.
utilized
I'd give
more.
it probably a solid 8 out of 10 overall. I think.
The surfaces, the work that they put into making the granite look granite, the flooring look like true slate flooring. That was just awesome.
The watery.
Oh my gosh, the visual effects on it were just incredible.
Okay. So here's a quick question. Let's go around the table. Who cracked their wallet open and bought something this week? Jolly?
Oh, I did. Yeah, not too much though. I did some meltdowns. Overall, net loss in terms of money, but I did pick up Perseus, which I was happy with. I melted a hammerhead to get to it, which I can always buy back in the future. But I want to check out the Perseus heavily. And since a hammerhead is your replacement ship until the Perseus comes out, I still can fly my hammerhead around as I want to. When
Just out of
Perseus
curiosity,
comes out,
I
I'll
didn't
check
see it
out.
for sale. When did it go on sale? I must have missed that.
Today.
Today? Yeah, today.
Oh, and
Today.
is it
Yeah,
still on
today was
sale
RSI
or is
day.
it
Yeah, it's still on
limited?
sale.
It's a new
And,
concept,
It's
so I think it'll
concept,
probably
so-
be around for a week.
How much bank?
Is
600
war bonds.
war bond,
Yeah, it's
675.
675.
Okay.
it's a
I'll have to
limited
go take a
sale
peek.
though, isn't it?
No,
Not
No, I
quantity
don't
No,
think
it's
so.
a concept.
Not
There's
quantity
also a
limited.
Chairman's Club version that you get the special paint with.
Yep.
Okay.
I passed
Turing, did they crack open your wallet this week?
Cracked it up very, very small crack this time.
Sure it did.
I spent most of my time. Well, you've seen my list, Jay. I mean,
Yes, I know exactly.
there's not a whole lot of room there. I spent most of my time trading out the ships that I needed to have long-term insurance on. I think that's it's extremely positive thing that you can do if you do nothing else at these annual sales, is to take and look at your inventory and trade out, because it's a 1-for-1 trade. If you've got ships that are not, in packs that you can melt and then trade up in that. I picked up a Nomad, I picked up a Hull B for myself, and I picked up a CCU for the Perseus. My big sale, my big crack the wallet open this time was for the 600i Explorer. So I put that back into my inventory. I sat and I tried to see if I could get rid of my 600i Touring model, because I don't have the 890, and Josh, no, I don't want to hear about it. I don't have the 890, but I do have the 600i, and I really like that ship from a luxury ship standpoint, and I just could not part from it this time around, but I could. But I did take my Carrack and CCU'd up to the Perseus, and the reason I did that is because eventually the Corsair will come online with the 600i Explorer. I have way too many exploration ships. The Carrack has always been a problem for me. I love the ship. I like the way it looks, but you can't open that top hangar externally. Now, maybe they'll fix that in the future. I don't know. But for right now, you have to have it is a truly dedicated multi-crew ship. My only drawback was it has that med bay in it, so that for an exploration ship you really need. But
I'm
that
gonna
was
be
kind
honest.
of my rundown.
Yeah,
I'm
I
looking
also
at it
picked up
right now.
A Terrapin and a Red too. Those are
Okay.
old ships, been out there for a while, which I wanted to finally get them.
Just for the record, this ambush pack is pretty kick butt. Two arrows and a Perseus for $100 more.
Yeah, but the Perseus can't really support the arrows, but that's all right.
Well, yeah, but 2 arrows for
Nice.
LTI ticket or tokens.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just
Josh, did your wallet get cracked at all?
So we're in the middle of decisions here. We did I did melt a couple things, and I upgraded to a Mercury Star Runner. I actually didn't pay much attention to that ship when it first was announced, and after looking at it more and kind of thinking of some things I want to do, I think that's going to be a good sort of all-around ship. But I'm still debating the Nomad. And speaking of the 600i, it used to be one of the loaner ship matrix for the 890, and they took it away from me. And I think they're trying to scream at my wallet. So we're still in debate as to how we're going to handle that. And now they threw the Perseus at us. So I'm in a confused and unknown state, but we'll figure it out before the show's over.
Okay. Nom, how about you?
Nope. Well, my wife is watching this, so I only bought a few skins.
She believes
All
it too.
And a coffee cup.
Yeah. Anyway, no. I was kind of tempted by the Nomad, and maybe someday I might get one. But it's not something I have to have now. But I'm glad for it for a lot of people. I think the Nomad's a great little starter ship that you might stay in for a while before you move on to something else. It's very defensible. I mean, three shields on it. It's a very versatile little thing. I will say on the big ships, especially the limited ones, they're also limiting them to like one. I don't know if you mentioned that before. There's like one per account in a lot of situations.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, somebody
Yeah, the
mentioned
limited
the
quality,
Perseus,
yes.
the concierge Perseus being sold out, but it's still available for me to purchase. So I'm guessing that that's probably an account limited ship.
It is. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
It's
I think
still
that's fine.
showing for me as well. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
But
Oh.
seriously, I only bought skins, so we'll stop there.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Sure.
That's your story, and you're sticking to it until your
Mhm.
wife learns how to log in and see your hanger.
Yeah.
And Chavcap, how about you?
I picked up a Nomad. I think
Oh.
it'll be a great ship to use with the Rock in the future, but we'll get into that a little bit later. It's got a couple
Yeah, I
hiccups.
think we're going to be
but
talking about that in a minute,
exactly.
I
Yep,
suspect.
next, I'm not going to talk about too much. I picked up a couple paint jobs. I really like the black and blue Stormbringer.
It's
It's very-
almost like RSI finally made us an ADI paint scheme.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
close enough,
Yep.
close enough.
And that's actually it. Oh, I bought an 85X because they're fun to fly around. So
Okay.
well, that's it.
I picked up a Millennium Falcon. I mean, a Mercury Star Runner. So they did shake a little money loose for me as well.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we should.
When
Um,
it first came out, that concept, it was
Yeah.
I passed because it was showing S2 weapons only. When
Mhm.
it actually came out, it was all S3s.
yeah,
That
I had that in
really
the pack
changes around
already.
that. Yep.
I think that's going to be the new go-to streaming ship for me instead of the Karak. You can get it in and out of places quicker and easier. It's got just as big, if not a slightly bigger, vehicle bay.
Well, Jay, I've been practicing, so we're good.
We're good.
We're good.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Good. I
the
suspect you and I will be flying
The
some in
one thing
one.
I'll say about the Mercury Star Runner is that it's just like the RSI constellation. You're not as far forward as you think you are when you get ready to land. So,
You're never quite far
Yep.
forward enough.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
okay, well, let's move on to our next subject that Joshua put on the list, and that is the Nomad. I'll let Joshua tell you all the good things about it before I trash it. So, Joshua, go ahead, and I think Joni, he's got some images that he wants you to show here. As soon as you pull those up, Josh, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. So to me, I as soon as I saw this ship, I got to be honest, I really didn't like the pictures of it. I didn't like the design of the exterior cargo. Maybe like a fungus, it started to grow on me a little bit. But I now have to ask the question of, is this potentially the best starter ship for the price in the game? Now, let me clarify. I want to compare this against the Avenger. We'll also compare it against the Black, but the Black is quite a bit more money, in comparison. So really, I think in almost every category, it kills the Avenger size ship. But I think it's kind of a quirky, good-looking ship. The sort of diamond-like portion shape of it almost reminds me of a stealth fighter. It's not exactly a beautiful ship, but I do think that there's a certain character to it. Even the inside with like the kind of orange highlights and the sort of geometric shapes everywhere. I don't know. It's kind of a fun ship that screams utility, but it doesn't scream too boring. Um, when I look at a ship, when I evaluate it, I evaluate it on a couple different factors, and one of them is if I just had that ship, or if I was just going to use that ship, how would it be? And the interior of it is enough in size that I could see using this as something where I would go out somewhere and end up being in it and feeling like this would be somewhat okay. Um, I do think that um, the ship itself has a lot of different potential. Being able to um, have a full bed, a full galley, a full bathroom is nice. Having readily accessible components from the interior is very nice. Performance wise, it's faster than both the Avenger and the Titan. I'm sorry, the Avenger Titan and the Black. I think the Avenger Stalker is still faster. In terms of cargo, it has 24 SCU compared to the Avenger only has 8. Now, of course, the Black has 46, but again, you're paying quite a bit more money. For all of the things
And for a
involved,
pressurized cargo hold too.
well, that's true. That's
Well,
true.
yeah, it's a pickup truck, but
Yeah.
It is, but here's something that even if you weren't going to, and I know that I get teased for having an 890, and that's okay. It fits in the cargo bay of an 890. Now you got to turn around. You got to face it backwards. The kind of wide part
you
fits
got to
the
get out your shoehorn.
It actually doesn't scrape. We tried this. It will
Oh.
fit.
Cut the wings off.
Yeah. You have to do that with a Cutlass Black, but it does actually fit. And to me, I ask, how does it work on its own? How does it work in conjunction with my 890 or maybe some other ship? So to me, I think it's one of the more interesting ships that you can fit into the 890. Now, is it as perfect as it could be? No, but I think, if you had to recover some cargo from down planet side, because we're not pirates, but you might have to recover it. It gives you the most amount of room to, be helpful to whoever you're getting the cargo back for.
We talked
yourself.
about We talked about this, Josh. It's rehome
Rehome.
the car. Yeah.
Home. Right. We're
Liberate.
gonna yeah. Liberate. We're liberating the cargo. Like it. But back to
The cargo just fell into the back of my Nomad.
Yeah, it just fell into.
I don't know
just
how it
backed-
got
I
there.
just backed it up, bumped it only once, and it
Yeah.
just fell right in the back.
This is bad hearing it from a guys who had an anti-piracy org.
Right, well, it's all how you phrase it, man. It slipped, tripped, and fell in the back, right?
Liberate the cargo.
As a standalone ship, the weapons and hardpoints are pretty impressive for its size. It has 8 size 2 missiles. It has 3 size 3 hardpoints. It has a tractor beam, which I'm guessing helps you get cargo in and out of the back. See, the tractor beam slipped. Oops.
Oops.
I know that I think it's the only small ship of its size has 2 size small fuel tanks. So I think that should give it some longevity. Also, the fact that it can carry the rock, I think, is great. So now you got a ship you can log out in. You can do all the human things you need to do. You can carry cargo, and you can go mining in it. So the utility of it, I think, is fantastic for the price point. I do think that there may be some interesting use cases for the Gravlev gear. I don't know if that's going to let you hover over water or not, or if maybe there's some extreme temperature on a planet's surface that you want to avoid, but you want to park there for whatever reason. So I'd be curious to see if there's any specialized uses for that. But I will say, I do think on the quirky side, I guess my biggest complaint is you can't access the cargo from inside the ship. Now, I know a pickup,
Yeah.
you can't really do that. So I get maybe that theme, but I do think that in this case, it could be a little sliding door, just some kind of man access to the cargo in the back. Personally, that would be for me.
Yeah, so you could open it up and walk out while you're in quantum or something. I mean,
Yeah, where am I gonna throw my beer cans, man?
Hey,
that's
it's
right.
I gotta open the back window and toss that puppy back there.
It's a
One,
new
one thing
type
I'm
of
gonna,
double jump.
I
I'm
can't
gonna
see
just-
my gun rack from my cargo bay, I guess.
one thing I would disagree with you on. Okay, you said it's the best starting pack right now.
I think so.
So, okay, right now, I 100% agree with you. The Nomad's a $70 ship. The pack is right now, the pack's going for $80 compared to $115 for a black starter. That $80 applies during this expo. A week from now, it's going to go to 95. That means for $20 more, you get a black instead of a Nomad. Point blank, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the black is a better ship than
Oh, yeah.
Nomad is. All right.
Absolutely.
No one's going to disagree with that. So it's worth the $20 for you. One thing I would point out, if you're looking for a starter ship and starter pack right now, get the Nomad plus pack plus Squadron 42. I think it's about a $40 or $45 standalone. It's going for $100. That is a great deal.
It is.
So if you want to get a starter pack, get that specific pack right now if you don't have Squadron 42.
And then upgrade it to a black if you want.
If you want to.
See,
For
I
not
fall-
much more.
$15
I
more.
fall on the other side of the
So-
coin. I like the Nomad over the black. Honestly, it's got some pretty big roadblocks at the moment to being as functional as a black at the moment. But I think, depending on your application now, I think it's the better move. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Only if you're
Okay.
solo only play.
Well, I
If-
mean, you have
if
to
you're
look at it.
doing-
Well-
From my mind, you have to look at it as what is a starter ship. I personally don't think the black is a starter ship. I think it's a utilitarian ship, and it's a multi-crew ship. I don't think you get the full use out of it unless you have another person sitting up in the turret. It doesn't have all the amenities that a starter ship has. So as a true starter ship, I would not put the black in that category. So is it a better ship for what it can do? Yeah, it hauls better cargo. You can put more vehicles in it. It's probably a little bit more maneuverable when you get down closer to the ground. It's got VTOL, yes, but is it a starter ship? And so I don't think just looking at it from that criteria, in my opinion, I still would come out on the Nomad side, because if you're just starting out, you're just a single person trying to play the game. You've got everything in that Nomad that you can use and do that you can't necessarily do in the black.
I'd like to add to that. It's got some versatility to it, especially if you're just single. If it's for a solo player situation, you're right that it doesn't have the expansion for having the gunner and all that. But if you're just by yourself, it has 3 size 1 shields, which, depending on which shield you pick, say you get 2 military and an industrial shield on there, those complement each other very well. Versus a black, which has a single size 2, I think.
Plus, it's faster. It can run
Yes.
away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, so that's a single size 2. I don't think is as good as 3 size 1s, especially if you're throwing an industrial into the mix.
Again, at the end of the day, it's only better if you are getting it for solo play.
Right. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
That's at the end of the day, it's a one-trick pony in that it's on the upper edge of a starter ship, and it very well may be pushed outside the edge of the starter ship price after this sale. Because let's be honest, $95, $90 is outside the edge of what we normally would refer to as a starter ship. It's, you're really looking at the $70 and below is kind of where we have classified starter ships up until this point. And, if you are only looking for solo play, it's got, particularly if you want to do rock mining or, take I guess a Cyclone can also fit in the back. You know,
Not
stuff like that,
Not
where you're
really.
just
No,
going to,
cyclone cannot fit in the back of a Nomad.
oh,
No,
it
cyclone
cannot?
fits.
Okay.
No,
It'll fit.
well,
It hangs
as long as you
over the
might have
edge.
the tires
It,
hanging
it, fit,
off.
it fits
It
like it
hangs
fits
over
in the
the
890. Yeah.
Wow.
But the point being is
We'll give it
that,
to Josh. In a week, it'll fit. So
Yeah.
yes, there'll be
Well,
parts
starter
chopped
pack
off.
is whatever SCI or RSI calls a starter pack. Now,
Yeah.
starter pack can be, my first starter pack was the Andromeda for 275. Now,
Sure, but that's really
that
not
was-
a
well, no,
starter ship.
You don't get to make the rules. RSI does. It says right there, game packages, starter pack. I'm looking at them. Okay, now I
It's
just look at Chad. The black
not
is
a,
better.
the Connie
what
is
I
not
like
a
about the
starter
Nomad.
ship.
First, its cargo capacity was 24.
Yeah, like
24
starter
SCU,
Idris.
yes.
24.
Yeah, it's got, it's,
46, I believe.
Yes, it
Black
is.
is 46,
So,
yes.
bam, right there. Almost twice the cargo
it,
capacity. right
it's
there.
again,
It's
the
by
key
ability to
differential.
upgrade its weapons is better than Nomads by far. You can fly it solo. We hope nobody fly. Almost everybody flies it solo. The black really
Sure.
need to put some turret anyways. But you do have a turret, so you got that going for you. I don't like the dumpster aspect of it. With all the bugs we had with the Andromeda, remember the elevators going up and down,
Yes.
leaving your
Yeah.
vehicle behind you.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
they'll
the
do
biggest.
without that.
That's the
Work
biggest.
out the mix. I'm not
That's
If
the
worried
the
about
ramp
biggest.
that.
was a little bit more square in the black, it'd be more useful.
Absolutely.
Yep, that'd be better. I absolutely agree with that point. That's for sure. You have to make sure you line up when you put your rock on there. But none of us have a problem putting a rock into a black. You have a
You
little
put
bit
two
of
rocks
problem
into black.
Easily.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
I
get
mean,
two
the-
in there, no problem.
The big
So-
three for me on the Nomad, I think it's great. I've been spending a lot of time doing rock mining, solo rock mining. I think it has the potential to be a perfect ship for that for a couple reasons. Number one, it's got an actual living space in it. It's got a counter where you can put food and drink down on, and it'll stay there, so you can just run in and grab it if you need it. But the three big things for me right now are the elevator physics need to get fixed because it's 50-50 on whether or not your rock's going to stay in or out when you go up or down. They need to make the doors inside with toggleable sensors like the Star Runner so that you can leave the interior doors open to get in and out faster. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten out of the pilot seat and been this close to the door and the door
And it
won't
doesn't open.
Yeah, or it opens and closes real fast, And then the third thing, which is probably going to get fixed pretty soon, is the fuel burn, the hydro fuel burn.
They always do that with new ships.
Those
They-
three will be fixed.
terrible.
Those
Yeah.
three.
Yeah,
will be
I'm not
fixed.
worried about those. Again,
I'm
all
just
I'm
saying
going to
right
say is at $70,
That's
if
not a
you
starter
are-
ship.
if you
It's not a
are,
package. It's not a package. 70
It's not a
bucks is
package. that's so. What is the package price right now?
90.
Right now it's
Excuse me,
80.
Right now, 80.
80.
80.
80,
80
yeah.
today. 80 today
was-
for a package.
And that's new cash. That's war bond, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. I get that. But if you're going to buy one today, the only person that should be in the market for the $80 starter package, whatever we want to call that of the Nomad, is somebody that they're dead set. I'm going to do solo rock mining, or, because for a few bucks more, you can be into the game package of a Cutlass Black. You could carry 2 rocks. You can carry a ton of cargo. You have room and a bed for at least 1 or 2 buddies. You could do all this other stuff gameplay wise. The Nomad is a one-trick pony. It's really this one little niche kind of job of I'm going to carry a small or medium amount of cargo, 24 SCUs, not small. Or I'm going to carry a rock and I'm going to go do stuff by myself. There's not really a way for me to drag a buddy or two along to do rock mining or to go cave exploring in it. There are better ships for less money if those are kind of what you want to do. But if you need a pickup truck to carry a rock or to do some mid-size or small size cargo runs, the rock is something worth looking at.
But it
The
was,
Nomad, excuse me,
but
Nomad.
Jay, a question from the audience there. Is it worth upgrading from the Titan to the Nomad?
yeah.
Only
so.
if you have a rock or
Well, I would say, Jay, that before the Nomad came along, your one-trick pony was the Avenger Titan.
sure.
This
But the
is
Avenger,
this is a better trick pony than the Avenger Titan.
well, but I would say
There is a lot more cargo.
it carries
Yeah,
a lot more
yeah.
cargo, but it's a lot more expensive. It's $30 more expensive.
Well, you're saying to go from the Nomad to the Connie at $30, so
Well, yeah, 25, something like that. But yeah,
Sure.
I get that. I'm just saying that it's the
Cutlass.
the Cutlass Black is a much more all around ship than the Nomad is.
Yes.
You could do a lot more stuff in a Connie
Yeah.
or a Cutlass Black than you can do in a Nomad. I agree. It is a step up from the Titan. I don't know that I would use the Nomad for combat ship.
No, I wouldn't.
I could
wouldn't
point to
rec-
that.
I wouldn't
Actually,
recommend it.
Box runner.
No, I've seen it in combat. I was decided to do a little box run to in a 315. I wasn't really gunned very well, and I got to Kovalex and was there to just EVA out and get a box, and then a bunch of NPCs showed up, constellations, stuff like that, and I was like, I do not have the damage, the DPS to take these guys out.
So
This
you
guy
ran.
in this guy in a Nomad shows up, and I found out after the fact he'd upgraded the guns to 2 Panthers, and what's the size 3 distortion cannon, and he proceeded to rip them apart. And he was very maneuverable. He, it's like I picked off the small fry that was getting on his 6, and he tore the Andromedas apart.
Okay.
It can be
So
an effective combat ship in the right
The,
hands.
the Nomad is basically a supersized Avenger Titan. But it's, where you can carry a rock in the back or a bunch more cargo.
For what it's worth right now, I think the Nomad's in a good spot as far as making money in the game if you don't want to do cargo with big risk dollar amounts. Because you can buy a rock in game for 172,000, do 1 or 2 rock runs with it and pay the thing off. If you have a 30K while you're mining, your only loss is your time and a ship claim. Whereas if you have a 30K when you're running 200 grand worth of
It's a
cargo,
huge issue.
you're out time and cargo now too. So
No, I completely agree.
I see it as the best solo moneymaker at the moment.
I would make the argument, well, yeah, solo moneymaker.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
I
I'm
agree.
not saying it's putting the Cutlass in the ground. I'm just saying
If you're playing with 2 other people, I would make the argument of Pisces and cave mining is is probably more lucrative.
Ooh.
But
that's a
or
good topic.
surface
I don't know
mining.
I don't know about that. That's a good topic though.
Yeah, well, but that's 3 people could go down and do a cave run and empty a cave in about 20, 25 minutes and pull out somewhere around 100K between them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can solo rock for an hour and make 100K.
Sure.
With a
Sure.
with a half full rock.
Yeah, no. I again, keep in mind though, got to have at least a Nomad or a bigger ship to carry the rock.
I don't disagree.
Got to have the rock. So,
Yep.
and it's really only good for you.
Fair enough.
It's play style. Again, the Nomad, it sounds
Absolutely.
like, is a
It's play
good
style.
ship. Yeah, it's a good soloist ship.
100%.
Okay. I don't
Yes,
like
just
it
get
though.
Compass, okay.
Okay. And then, Turing, do you have anything you want to add to that smackdown of the Nomad and the love it got?
No, I don't think it's. I have a Cutlass in my inventory. So if you want to talk about a ship that replaces a ship, you need to do the MSR versus Constellation Andromeda discussion.
Oh boy.
Well, maybe
Not
maybe
now,
if we
not
have
now.
leftover time.
I'm saying that
Yeah,
one you could actually go into something and talk about are those 2 ships is one supplanted the other now that they're both out. So see.
Good point.
But I think like you say, Jay, I agree too. In the end, Nomad is based on play style. If you want to run, sometimes you just want to go do some things by yourself. And if you're just starting out too, it's I think a better starter ship for most of the people who are just getting into Star Citizen. That's just now the price point. That's always going to be a factor. But let's face it, Star Citizen. If you're looking for a price point break, you're in the wrong game. So.
Fair enough. Okay, let's move on to the last official topic, and then we'll talk about the Millennium Falcon if we have more time and everybody's not asleep. Jolly, tell us about this new capital ship killer that they
Everyone's been looking
released.
forward to the Perseus coming out. They're calling it a capital ship killer. I'll get to that in a little bit, but just so you know, it's a little bit smaller than Hammerhead. It's shorter, narrower. It is taller by the 5 meters, but if you're looking for size, roughly Hammerhead size on it, the whole thing. A crew of 6 comes into play. Keep in mind, if you want to fully man your Hammerhead, crew of 7. No one likes leaving a gun empty on the Hammerhead itself. I melted my Hammerhead, which I can buy back later on. You get the Perseus, because I think the Perseus is going to go up about $200 in price next time you see it. So
I
I'll be able
think
to get my
you're right.
hammerhead back from our previous price. The Perseus, I got the cheaper price now, so I'm happy with that one. And I get a hammerhead as a replacement ship, along with I think an arrow, until it shows up in the game itself. So no loss of my current gameplay, and I got something reserved for the future. Works out pretty well for me. So I'm happy about that one. It has solid firepower, beyond a shadow of a doubt. 2 S7 weapons on the turret. And being on a turret, I think is a big plus. You got a big ship like that. Fixed forward firing weapons on a big ship, unless you're going for a really big a javelin or something like that, you got to maneuver your ship around in order to get it on line to engage the target itself. With a turret instead, I get those sevens around quickly, be able to engage an enemy ship, a capital ship or medium-sized ship, while I'm offsetting instead of running straight down and stuff like that. So there's a big plus to that one. So good kudos on that one. The 2 remote twin S3s, that's good firepower against the ship. They're intended to be for anti-fighter. 3s are good. I kind of like 2s. I'd have more 2s than 3s, but that's fine. It's something that you can engage your fighters with itself. And the torpedoes, a nice size 5 torpedoes, 20 of them. So it's a good loadout itself, and I'm happy with it. 2 large shields. That's a big plus in my opinion. And it's got it is slow though. That's one thing that comes to play. Like the hammerhead, top SCM is 92, so it's not going to be racing through the skies and stuff. If you don't like flying the hammerhead in atmosphere, you're not going to enjoy the Perseus atmosphere either. It comes into
Right.
play. Max crew, they say, is 6. If you want to man all your guns, you can get away with 4. You got one person in the main turret overhead. You get both those are remote turrets manned, and you get the pilot itself. Personally, I think if you're going against a big ship, you get away with 2, a pilot and somebody in the big turret. Assuming the pilot's going to be able to control the torpedoes, you get the big turret up top. We're good for that. Of course, you have no fighter protection whatsoever, unless you get real lucky with that S7 turret, where they decide to just fly in front of you for some dumbass reason. So we'll keep that one in mind. I think a Perseus and a hammerhead working together covers all grounds, and I do like that fact. One thing I don't agree with, they say it's a capital ship killer. No, it's not. A few of them could be, but not by themselves. 2 S7 weapons. That's great. All right. You remember the
The Constellation has
Ares.
2 S7s?
the Ares has got an S7 on it, so 2 Ares
Or is
7s
it S6?
takes care of that. The Constellation?
Yeah,
Force.
I
No,
thought they
no.
were larger than that.
No,
No,
They're
they're
full.
small.
Only
Sorry.
wish I would have kept mine if that was the case. But Harbingers have got size 5 torps. If I had 2 Ares and 2 Harbingers, I've got pretty much almost a Perseus right there. I'm doing it with as few as 4 people, as opposed to needing 4 and 4, a man on my weapons and stuff like that. But is that in and of itself a capital ship killer? No, it's just part of the team that'll help take down a capital ship quite a bit. So I'm happy with that one.
Charlie, I'd like to correct
So-
one thing. I just realized they actually say subcapital in the descriptions. I think some people are
Okay.
misquoting that.
All right.
So we're talking like taking out other, hammerheads and other stuff in that
Yeah,
size.
yeah.
I would be
Perseus.
honest.
Yeah, and
This-
one question is, I think there's another size 7 underneath, isn't there?
No,
Doesn't it
2
have
size
have
7s in
two
a turret.
doesn't it have
two-
2 turrets?
Bring stats
It
back
has-
up.
A
I
size
think it
7.
has.
I'm looking at it right now. 2 man size twin S7 weapons, 2 auto remote twin S3 ballistic cannons, and 2 size 5 torpedo launchers, 10 torpedoes per launcher. That's it
And
right
it's
there.
back on the screen for folks. Jolly,
it-
just
it-
to confirm, you were saying 2 people. I think Turing's pointing out it would be 3 to man both the 2 size
Yeah, because
7s.
there's two
It's two
two
twins.
manned twin 7 turrets.
Oh, you're
So that
right.
means
It's 2 man twin
There's
servants.
2.
Four.
Yeah, there's one
Or-
on the top,
or
and the
bang
one you
six.
can't see is more aft on the bottom. So there's one on the bottom and one on the top for the size 7.
That gives it 4 size 7s.
4
Correct.
size 7s
yeah.
that are
Oh.
man. Yeah,
That's
2
a lot of
two
punch.
man.
Yeah,
So you
that
can
is.
you can swing it and have four size 7s broadsiding something as you swing by.
It's going to
4
be
inches now.
Do you
this
think it
thing is
punches
going to
above
be
its weight?
very properly manned, properly crewed, very dangerous to hammerheads, nautiluses, potentially Polarises, things in that size. This
I'd
is going to
still-
be
Still a step below
Karax.
Polaris. Still below Polaris.
Kraken,
well,
Pioneer.
sure, no, but I'm saying it would be dangerous towards a Polaris, i.e., it would threaten a Polaris.
Yep.
It's not going to threaten an Idris by itself per se, or not in short term, or anything bigger than that. But the hammerheads, the nautiluses, the
Ted
you know,
brings up a good-
Caracs of the world. This
Ted-
thing will
Ted
make
brings up a
sense
good
meat
point.
out of.
890s perhaps, 600 eyes.
Yeah, 890,
Reclaimers.
600
Just fine.
eyes,
The 890 will be just fine.
Yeah.
Orions. This is going to be something that's going to target large, you know, Hull E's, Hull D's, that kind of stuff.
I don't know, Josh. You won't be able to wine and cheese you out of, your way out of this one. So
Yeah,
Yep.
The
with the
890
890.
is faster, so it's okay.
I see this as a true pirate ship almost, if you think about it, with the big old cannons that they can shoot at, people. It seems like a top tier pirate ship. Like maybe they can't get Nidris, but they picked up a couple of these bad boys so they can threaten smaller
Well,
ships.
and when you really only need a 5 or 6 man crew to fully crew the thing, yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty dangerous little ship out there to harass people with.
Well, in combination with the other ones, when you have the Hammerhead, you have the Polaris, and you have the Perseus now, those in a pack situation, that's rounding out your fleet, man. I mean, that's really going to be
What was the
being
third
able
one?
to
Hammerhead and
Hammerhead, the
Perseus.
Polaris, and the Perseus.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can wreck, you
Those
can wreck
three
shop with
ships,
those.
Nautilus,
along with fighter escort, medium to large fighter escort, you're going to have some area control over that, and then throwing in a Nautilus as well to round out your capital. I mean your sub capital fleet. That's pretty good. I mean that's a really good combination.
I don't know if they're going to make size 7 distortions, but if one of those turrets had 2 size 7 distortions and then the other one punched through when the shields were down, that would just be deadly.
Like the Hoth ion cannon.
it would be a problem.
Shut you
Yeah.
down and then poke a hole in you.
It could then threaten some capital ships. Then if you could shred the capital ship shields enough to where your ions and your infernos could get through and start banging them up.
If you
Polaris with your torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I really don't like about it is the torpedo size. I think for a ship that size 5s is under gunned from a missile standpoint.
It's still a pretty decent sized missile. It's going to take down, anything that is,
But it's
Connie or smaller pretty
too slow
quick.
to evade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if you whittle down the shields on like a hammerhead, it's gonna hurt that hammerhead.
oh yeah. If you knock down the shields, those missiles will be enough to really mess up a hammerhead. But then again, if you knock down the shields, you start landing a bunch of rounds from those 2 twin 7s. That's 4 size 7s. You're going to tear up that hammerhead without the missiles.
Perseus does have a good point on if someone is using that as a pirate ship. It only holds at 50 SCU, so it's only going to be able to take so much that it gets people to drop.
Well, that's why
Again,
you have your pirate
you're-
harling ship come with you.
Yeah.
You're assuming
Good
that
point.
anybody that's
Here comes the
competent enough.
pirate cat.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
right. You're right.
You're assuming that anybody that is competent enough to get 2 of these things in theater and coordinate the attack is not going to be able to coordinate a caterpillar behind it. So, I completely agree. This is going to be one of those ships where you're going to have to think through how do you take this down before you let it get in and start messing with your medium and large size ships as part of your packages for us. So I mean, we're really going to have to, once this comes out, really going to have to figure out, well, how do you take this thing out at distance, because you can't let it get in close and open up with those size 7s.
Hit it with a size 10 from a Polaris.
Well, that's assuming you have
what's-
Polarises, but
We don't even know for sure what the range is going to be on size 7 yet. We can postulate based off the current guns, but it's going to be further
Yeah.
than what we have now.
sure. But what I'm saying is it's not going to be 20 kilometers out that they can open up on you.
True.
Well, that's not the gameplay style that they want, anyways. They wouldn't.
Correct. They want to let you get, you're going to have to drive these things in, within, 2 or 3 kilometers to open up probably.
Other size 4s and 5s in the game already have further range than that.
Sure. But I'm talking about to start hitting, reliably with
Reliable hits. Okay.
Yes. Reliable hits.
Yeah, with
You're going to
those
have to
two-
close within 3, 4, 5 kilometers. You want to figure out a way to keep them farther out than that and take them down before they get that close to your hammerhead or your.
Well, and they're man
Cut-
turrets, right? So
Or
I mean,
play-
you've got the human shooting, not the gimbal, not the auto gimbal too.
That's true.
Or
right?
play up to the fact that it only has 2 twin size 3 turrets to take care of ships that are trying to small ships that are trying to get around it. So it's not as
It's
well
not
defended.
invincible.
It's not as well defended as you think, and you're not going to, those size 7s aren't going to be anti-medium, anti-large fighter
No.
guns. So if you can get in the way it's designed, there are a couple looking blind spots that you could probably utilize with that thing.
It's
Just
not
hope
meant
that
to operate solo. No.
no,
No,
uh,
no.
y-
You're gonna have to take out the screening
clearly.
ships
Unless-
first.
Unless you're making it a size 30 RAM.
Well, the simpler way to look at this, Jolly, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Make sure your headset's on.
Go. Josh, looking
Okay.
up the distortions. Biggest currently is a 4, and it's a scattergun, so means close
Yeah,
range. And
I think
so
we're okay.
four.
But
Yeah, distortion's
I-
a little OP at the moment, so they'll
Yeah.
dial those
Yeah.
back down.
I can definitely see one of these tagging along next to every hammerhead. It'll be a good combination. The hammerhead keeps the light fighters and medium fighters off of it. It waylays on anything that's bigger that gets close. You know, the Connies, the MSRs, the Caracs, that kind of stuff. This thing would slaughter much better than the hammerhead would.
Someone's saying in the chat that the Ares said 8 kilometers, which it had a size 7. I don't remember if that's true or not, but if that is, that makes it a little more viable.
It
Ares
does.
has a 7.
It does.
It's a ion. Is that what it
There's
is?
an
Well, they
ion
have
version.
two
of the
types.
Gallon.
Ion's the paint, I thought.
Yeah, and the shoot
Inferno's the other one.
Gatling.
Inferno.
Gatling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So-
can't wait to see that thing shoot.
Before we open up to viewer questions, guys, if you have viewer questions, go ahead and start shouting out to Shapcap. He's going to make a list. I think he's got some already. But I want to talk about the Mercury Star Runner real quick and do a kind of a round robin because I'm going to be honest, that ship kind of surprised me. I was really excited about it. I definitely see that as the new step up from the Cutlass Black, the Freelancer. If you are looking for something a little bit bigger, more multiplayer gameplay, I really think the Mercury Star Runner is something to look at. What do you think, Jolly?
I don't have one. I've looked at it. Like I said, when it came out in concept, I looked at it and I was turned off by the S2 weapons. When it came out in real life, it was S3s. It's a big difference for me. I have flown around a bit during Evocati and stuff. And when it first was released out to at least Wave 1, also I'm still flying it. I like it a lot. Cargo is almost that of a Max. It's a little bit short. I haven't seen how this hidden smuggling compartment is going to work out so much.
It works great, by the way.
Works
It'd be
great.
fine, but-
You put in 108 SCU of cargo first. That
Right.
goes into your main. Your last 6 things that you put in go into the secret compartment.
The little crawlways and stuff like that. It's kind of neat. It's a good overall ship. I mean, I think it's positive about it. It'll probably be a last minute purchase this weekend. I just want to figure out if I want to buy it outright or do an upgrade for something else. But I'm pretty positive on it. I really am. I would say it's easier to fly a Max. Because at least with the Max, I keep my 4 guns with me, and I have 122 or 120 cargo, as opposed to the MSR. MSR, I've only got the pilot control guns if I'm flying it solo. So Max is an easier solo ship to fly than the MSR is. So it's something I got to weigh in.
Turing, what's your thoughts?
I like the ship. I did have it already in a pack so it's already been in my inventory for a while. It handles really well. It has a lot of multi-functional use to it. Data running is one of the things that it's designed for. You can see it when you first walk into the ship. There are server racks everywhere. It's got a dedicated scanning room off to the side. That's going to be interesting to see what that gameplay is going to be. It's very defensible ship. You cannot. I don't see how anybody's going to be able to hijack that ship. If you know that folks are coming, you can hop down in those corridors. You can easily, if you orient yourself and take the time to learn how the twists and turns are going to be, you can defend that ship very easily. The drawback is the very end of the. You have to come in through the cargo bay, and then you have to use that elevator to get up into the main part of the ship. They should. I don't know if there's a ladder there. It looks like there might be a ladder there.
You can jump grab.
You're
jump
vaulting.
grab it. Okay.
Yeah, you can vault up.
That's good. It's a very detailed ship. I like the way they're going with the way that they've made the details into it. And to me it just flies and feels so much smaller than it actually is. You have to remember that she's a wide body, so you got to make
Yes.
sure that you got to make
It's like
sure you
double
give it enough
economy.
room. and I have left myself short a couple of times when I'm trying to land. So again, you're not as far forward as you think you are. And just like somebody pointed out in chat, there are no escape pods. So I don't know if Crusader's taking a hit off of Drake and being able to save money or something, but there are no escape pods to it. But overall, a good ship. I look forward to playing with it more.
Okay. Josh, any thoughts on the Mercury Star Runner?
So, for a long time, I know the Connie's had a bad reputation. It's got some shield holds. It doesn't maneuver very well. And we'll see. I still believe when they say listen to the intent, not the current status. So I try to remember that. The only thing that I think even potentially redeems the Connie as being a ship to consider is that snub fighter. And I know it's not a very powerful fighter, but I think of things in terms of mission capability. And if I had to take a little ship down to a surface side of a planet, drop a rover, and maybe have a little cast snub fighter, I still think that's a cool concept. How well it works, I don't know. But short of that, I think the MSR beats the Connie in pretty much every category. The cool factor category, the Millennium Star Runner category. I think it's great that you can have some, cargo that isn't detectable, so you can maybe make a few extra bucks or hide some people. And the fact that it handles the way it does and the raw speed of it, it makes it more fun to fly. And I think you don't want to overlook that. Whenever I've flown the Connie or even the Freelancer Max or some of those ships, you push down on the stick because I fly with a stick, and the ship responds, and then you got to pull back, and there's just this huge delay. When I flew that ship, it does feel a little more like a fighter. It does have more of a fun factor. So, personally, after I rented it and flew it and took a look around all the little areas and everything, I feel like that's a very, very strong ship for the money in that price range.
Okay. Nom?
I love it. I didn't buy anything in the sale, but some months ago, I ended up
Somehow one fell into your
my
cart.
black, I think a rock, and I bought back and did a buyback of the MSR from last year's sale, and in
Oh.
preparation for it coming out now. So I did use a little bit. I did put a little bit of new cash in at that point, but I really like this thing. And so because reason I did that is I went ahead and bought the black and the rock in game, and when the day comes that gets wiped, I'll buy it again in game with in-game money. I love the thing. It's not one. The one thing I don't like about it is the pilot only has 2 size 3 guns, so it's not one I would take it in any real combat without having 1 or 2 gunners in the thing.
Yep.
But it has a good amount of cargo. That was always the thing. The Cutlass for me was always on that edge of having a useful amount of cargo for doing any real cargo running when it's safe enough to do so. I personally don't like the heartburn of wondering if I'm going to lose 200K because of a game crash.
Nope. Right.
For getting to what Josh, you were talking about, the Constellation. I don't really think it's fair to really compare them because the Connie has a lot more armament. I mean, especially for the pilot. The pilot by themselves has way more damage they can deal, and with a proper gunners in that thing, and with the snub fighter you mentioned, it's apples and oranges there. I don't think that's a fair comparison, really.
I'd rather take an MSR any day of the week than a Connie, though, if I had some people with me.
In its current state, I think the Connie, once they fix the elevator issues, the whole thing needs a rework in general with the nacelles snapping off and all that. But assuming things are fixed, I think they both have a role, but it's very different.
I'm just going to say this. Unless they take and make a Connie 5050 or 2051 that is a complete from the ground up, more looks like the Polaris, the Perseus, their other ships, and just completely scraps the whole design of the Connie. The Connie is a massive fail to me. I'm just going to be honest.
It is a mess. I'll agree on that. But
and I don't think you can put enough lipstick on the pig to change that.
Possibly. But getting back to the MSR though, I do love the thing. It's my new go-to, like the black was used to be for me. But also, in a black by myself, I got 4 size 3s I can face forward by myself without having a
Yep.
gunner. Can't do that in the MSR, but I do just enjoy. It's just a fun ship to fly, especially flying down to a planet. I just love the thing. It's just fun.
MSR is great if you're playing with other people. Chap, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you actually led right into it. For me, I think the MSR has some cool things, but it's not for me. A couple things I like about it. I like the interior design. I think they did a great job with all the materials and the general layout of the ship. I think is
Light switches.
pretty decent. Yeah, I like light switches. That's great. I like door switches where I can turn the sensors on and off, which means I can lock a door open or keep a door closed. Yeah, those are things I like about it. Some things I kind of scratch my head on. Why is there an elevator in the cargo hold? It doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't seal. It's not an airlock. So maybe if
bother?
it was an airlock, it would have some functionality there. But I mean, there's clearly a gap between the bottom of the elevator and the glass. So maybe that's a design issue. I don't know. It seems kind of useless for me. Because why would you want to vent your entire ship into the cargo bay if you had it open? Like you just can't EVA, I guess. And then the other thing is there's some theory craft on the escape pod. Some people are saying that perhaps the cockpit jettisons. That's why there's a hallway with 2 doors there. And there's a seam line along the outer hull of the ship that could indicate that the cockpit could jettison. And then there's 2 gun racks as well in the cockpit, which are good for ship defense for the pilots, but perhaps, I don't know. That's some theory craft there. Nothing official, of course, but
Yep.
that's 80% of Star Citizen is theory crafting.
Oh, at least, if not 90.
Right. So for me, I think the MSR is a cool ship. For me personally, I don't own one. I don't plan on owning one. We just need to see what this data running gameplay is going to be like. But that's not my style of play anyways. I'm more of a go miner kind of guy, go explore kind of guy. And, I'm not a data runner smuggler, but that's me. That's my 2 cents on it.
Oh, it reminds me of Millennium Falcon, though. It's a good
I
little
think that's why a lot of
3-4
people
person
are,
ship.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's a little 3-4 person ship. If you're going to go do box missions or go do mining or rock mining or something, it's a step up from the Cutlass Black. It's got a little, with the proper crew, it's got pretty decent defenses. I'm looking forward to it.
It's got what, 3 medium shields, I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Mediums or small?
Mm,
Mediums?
no.
I don't really know off the top of my head. I'll have to go look.
I don't think it has 3. I know. I think there are medium-sized components, though. Quantum drive's medium.
Chap Cap, what questions do we have this evening?
We have a couple quick questions here.
Okay.
First question for anybody who wants it. Do you think the Redeemer this is from Cobra 22. Do you think the Redeemer will be along the lines of the Hammerhead once it pops out? Or is it going to be more of a close air support kind of deal? Or what's going on there? I know it's a smaller ship.
I think
what do we think?
It's going to be unless they just, again, toss it out the window and completely redesign it from the ground up. I think it's going to be a slightly better armored Cutlass Black dropship. It's not going to be as powerful as the Valk. That would be my bet. But somewhere, more powerful than a Black, less powerful than a Valk. Basically for dropping off, probably the same number of people as a Hoplite or maybe a few more.
Okay, now I thought the rework of the Redeemer was getting rid of the troop carrying capacity.
I think it limits it down a little bit from what I'm
It was
seeing.
only 4 to begin with. It
Oh,
wasn't
well,
like a huge.
I thought they got rid of the seats. Didn't they get rid of the seats?
Well, the hollow model had a bunch of guns poking off of it, so
Yeah.
I don't think we know enough actually about it to theorize.
We
too
haven't
much on
seen the reworked.
But
I
would
think we can
not
find
see.
it online. Oh, real quick, the Nomad is 3 small shields. Small.
Yeah. 3 Nomad is, yeah.
The Nomad is.
The
I think
answer
they were asking about the Star Runner.
point blank. I would not put it along the lines of Hammerhead. It is not an area of fighter denial ship. It's more of a run and gun ground support, in my humble opinion.
Have to wait and see, but my guess is
yeah.
something that kind of vaguely resembles a Valkyrie, but a much smaller size.
Yeah. All right. Next question went to me direct from McGee. MSR or Corsair. For me personally, I have a Corsair. Mostly I got it because I wanted to give it the custom name. and I think it looks kind of neat. But who knows? Maybe I'll melt it when it comes out, and we'll see. Next question for the group. How about 2 venues next time they do IAE?
Yeah.
One on each planet or separate planets. Do you think that's a little too much? Spreads it out
Complete
too
waste
much?
of time.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it close together.
I suspect it's going to be at Orison, Crusader. It's probably
Yeah.
going to be whenever. That's surely going to get released sometime next year.
The new hotness.
Yeah, I mean, just as a general rule, they go over where the new hotness is, so that people want to go there and look and ooh and ah.
Mhm.
And the truth is that since it came out, I've been living on Microtech. That's been my spawn point, my main base of operations for months now. So I like it there. I like it better than Area 18 or
Yeah, I've been living in
God
Everest.
help you, Laurelville.
I like Lorville. I work out there all the time.
I hate Laurelville. Takes too long to get to the spaceport.
He's skinny.
We're down to 2 questions here.
Lauraville's too long. You're working out of New Babbage?
Yeah,
Good Lord, that's the longest one there is to get to a spaceport.
yeah, not that bad.
15
It's
trains
worse
later.
than any of them. Oh,
What's
it's
the next
too medium,
question?
Too medium in the MSR.
This one is for Jolly Direct. It's from Captain Knuckles.
right,
What is your
Knuckles, I need your
biggest
name.
issue with the Nomad?
Oh, my biggest issue with the
Pick one.
Nomad, I would say it is the cargo capacity of it and the fact it's a pure one-person ship, not 2, 1.
Yep.
And that's what I don't like about it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then we have a follow-up from Knuckles. How do we feel about the Prospector as a solo moneymaker ship? I know we didn't talk on it at all,
Good.
but it came
It's
up
a
when we were
great-
talking about
very
solo
good.
mining. So
It's a great little
we'll circle back around.
solo
to
money.
That's how actually I make
money
most of
maker.
my money right now because I don't trust trading.
Same here.
It's a little
you
expensive.
lose
If you,
time, right?
a
That's
little
it.
expensive if you buy it out of game, but it's definitely something you can work toward to buy in game.
That's what I did actually.
I bought mine out of game, so I keep it when we go live. Because the first thing I do is put the damn helix on it and mine my
Make some
way to.
money.
Yeah, a lot of
Everwell.
the things that I plan on keeping are exactly that way. Moneymaker is right out the gate.
Yep.
That I can just hop in and go make some cash.
Right.
Go make that first 10 million.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're gonna need it.
But that does round out our questions. We didn't have any
Good.
more late ones come in, so that's all we got on the
Woohoo.
question front.
So there was a question about the size of the components on the MSR. They're
2
medium.
medium.
Oh, did I
Yeah.
miss
They're
it?
medium. They're medium
2
size.
million.
2 medium generators, 2 medium coolers, 2 medium power plants.
Yeah.
Medium
Perfect.
size.
So let's just go around the horn one more time. Did you have a good Thanksgiving there, Jolly?
Yeah, it went well. Had some family over, so we were rather happy with that whole thing. And we played Catan afterwards. Some reason my daughter
I
wanted
love
to
that
play
game.
that. So.
Wow.
A lot of
I'm
people are into
learning
that
it.
now. It's hot.
Gotta
Dan's
trade,
hot right now.
gotta trade your wheat for your wood, man.
I know.
Nobody wants your sheep, Josh.
I have sheep
Yeah.
and I need
Nobody
wood.
wants your sheep.
Oh,
Use
wow.
Use sheep.
Wow.
But no, great
Uh,
Thanksgiving and enjoyed the expo for the week.
What about you, Trent? How was your holiday?
It was good. Just the wife and I. No family this time. My parents decided to keep a COVID bubble around their house and such. So, but I ate a lot more than I should have, and I'll be paying for it in the next few weeks. But it was good.
I also ate more than I should have, but it's been good. Josh, how was your Thanksgiving in COVID land?
Well, normally I'd be in Ohio and it would be a large gathering with a lot of people, but we stayed home, just the wife and I, and we pretty much immediately decorated, as you can see behind me. And
Yes. Huh, strange colors. I
yeah.
wonder what you're celebrating. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I did. If you notice here, this isn't just a Christmas tree. This is very Star Wars themes, and I have the Death Star on top.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
We went to a store.
Middle note. Next time we go somewhere, you're rooming with Dark Myth.
Yeah.
I've never bought like a decoration for my office or for myself before, really. So we actually went out to the store to pick up something. I saw this and I figured, you know what, since we're not doing a lot for the holidays, it might be nice to put something on my desk. So whatever, I bought it, I liked it, and now you've had to look at it for the last
And
hour.
and your wife just made sure you put it in your
Well,
office and not anywhere else in the
and-
house.
And I finally broke down and bought something Star Wars for the wall. So I've got
Nice.
one little Star Wars thing back here
Perfect.
on the wall.
Is
Nice.
it a
Wired.
bobblehead?
Yeah.
The Funko Pop, yeah.
Yeah, Funko Pop. They were on sale for like $2.99 on Amazon,
Well, you
so I
don't,
grabbed
want to
one.
lose money by not buying it.
Well, no, but it's
Collect them
it's
all.
a cheap little thing to be sitting back there next to the absolutely wonderful 20 Mike shell that Jolly sent me. So, Numidius, how about you? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was actually surprisingly good. The weeks leading up to it, we got over just my wife and I got over this whole COVID thing. I went through that, but leading up to it, my family had decided to bring food around to houses and all that, so people get a little bit of taste of Thanksgiving like we usually have without actually getting together. So we got over it, and then I actually still got to have the turkey and everything, but it was just my wife and my wife and me here together. But it had pretty much ended on a positive note.
And Chapcap, not to ask a depressing question, but how was Thanksgiving for you on home away from home?
Well, it actually was not too terrible.
Good.
I was able to get some turkey and some sides that I was able to cook. Luckily, I'm in an extended stay hotel, so I have a kitchen, as you can see behind me.
Cool.
So I was able to do some cooking. My mother, being the mom that she is, mailed me a care package
Great.
of baked goods, and then a coworker actually sent me a dessert pie randomly, from California.
Wow.
So it actually worked out pretty good. It was a bit lonely, but I chose not to travel during the pandemic, and here we are.
Great. So, guys, my family and I celebrated Thanksgiving like normal, and it was great to be able to see people. First time I've left the house except to vote since Mother's Day. So I got out and took the wife and the little one with us. Oh, wait, my wife is telling me I left for Father's Day. My bad. First time since, other than going to vote since Father's Day. My bad. Anyhow. Want to wish you guys a absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. We've got Christmas coming up. We don't run an episode during December so that everybody is free for the holidays. And I'm proposing that we'll start back up the evening of January 16th.
Roger that.
So
Works for me.
Sweet
I think
16.
that should work for most of us,
As far as I
So,
know.
as far as you know.
Fly by the seat
So-
of pants.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But January 16th, we'll be back at the same time. And we look forward to talking to you. Hopefully, there's a bunch of new news. Obviously, if something goes crazy in the world or crazy in the world to Star Citizen, we'll be back a little early. But, we probably won't be back for December. So see you all in the verse or in the new year. So have an absolutely wonderful Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and see you next year.
Bye-bye.
2951.
Bye, guys.
Yep.
Happy
Bye,
holidays.
guys.
Well.